serious?
Hey guys, hope you're going well. It's another review coming out of the Sydney Film Festival, and this is actually a documentary that I got a chance to see, which is pretty cool because I don't always opt in to see the documentaries, but this year there were some brilliant ones, and this one, Three Identical Strangers, is such an unbelievable story. As the main character, or one of the central guys, says to the camera in the very first few minutes, if it didn't happen to him, he would not believe it was true. And that is the vibe you need to take going into this movie. Okay, so to tell you what this movie is about, I need to set the scene. A 19-year-old boy arrives at his first year of college, and everyone on campus is greeting him and keeps calling him the name Eddie, giving him hugs, welcoming him back, giving him kisses. But his name is not Eddie. And a short while later, a friend of Eddie's comes up to him and says, "You look just like my friend Eddie. I think you have a twin brother." Sure enough, the boys meet, and they are in fact twins. They're long lost twins that were separated at birth. And it's a media sensation. It's printed in the newspaper. And suddenly the boys get a phone call from another boy who's 19 and says, "I'm looking at the newspaper and seeing a photo of you two. I look just like you. I think I'm the third twin." This is the 1980s. These three boys are triplets and an absolutely become media stars overnight. They tour the country doing talk shows, and they're immediately famous. It's such a joyful tale of the reunion of these three boys that have been separated at birth. As the dust settles over the next few years, the boys move in together, and like young boys, they just want to have fun and get to know each other as brothers. But this is when the parents start asking some questions. So there's three sets of parents, one set of parents obviously for each boy. And they come together and they start asking the question, how come when we were going through the adoption process of adopting our babies, we didn't know that there were brothers? How did it come to be that one boy was placed in a blue-collar home, one boy placed in a middle-class home, and one boy placed in a more wealthy and affluent home? Is there something more sinister at play here? Why were the parents never told that there were other babies? That there was a set, that they were triplets? Why is it that when they were kids, the boys were videotaped and had tests done on them by researchers that would visit them once a year and take all these notes and data on the kids? What really is going on? Is there something more conspiratory going on behind the scenes? So we go from something really joyful and uplifting of these boys finding each other as young adults to then starting to ask the questions, why were they separated in the first place? This documentary is just a roller coaster of emotions. At the beginning, it's such a miracle that these boys find each other as young adults, that they're so happy to be reunited. They have mannerisms that are so similar. It's uncanny. They're essentially the same person. But then as time goes on, the sort of differences within them as people begin to show. Yes, they have a lot of quirks that kind of make them seem like the same person, but they grew up in very different households with very different families. So they're really different young men. This opens the story right up into the really huge themes of nature versus nurture. How much impact does your upbringing really have on who you turn out as a person? It's not just the straight facts that you could read in a newspaper article. This movie really does get in there with those twists and turns and builds an emotional story to really take you on a journey and feed you little bits of information in an investigative style as you find out and get to the bottom of what really happens. I highly recommend this documentary. I'm sure it'll get a Netflix release. It'll get a wide release. It is just told in a really interesting way and had me thinking so long after it finished about that nature versus nurture debate. That is it from me, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this one if you've had a chance to see it. Otherwise, keep an eye out. I do think it's getting its general release at the beginning of next month, maybe. Or like I said, I'm sure it'll be coming to Netflix video on demand. You probably don't have to see this one at the cinema, but you have to see it. It is really worth your time. Don't forget, you can also subscribe to my channel here and keep up to date with all things movies, TV. There'll be more reviews coming from me from the Sydney Film Festival, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.